Welcome back to Q Dads, and yes, it's me, Ben, and you're joining me today with the first of our Foundation rewatch as we dive deep into Season 1, Episode 1. And if, like us, you're thinking, what the hell happened in the last season because it's just been that long, then join us on this journey because we'll be watching this show, giving it a bit of a recap per episode, and then even diving deep into some of those interesting details, some of the foreshadowing, and even some of the points that probably made no sense at all. And yes, we will be dropping 2 or 3 of these a week from now on, so please feel free while you're at home, watch along with us. Watch our thoughts and opinions on the episodes during this rewatch, so you're a little bit more familiar. But if not, then just listen along, and hopefully our points will help jog your memory of what happened. And now again, before we do dive into this, Foundation was one of our ultimate favourite series for me and Steve. So that's why we want to give you some more content for the show. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and keep up to date. And of course, let us know in the comments because engagement is so important to us and we want to have those conversations in the comments. So obviously we're not going to be touching on the intro here. Although there is a variation between Season 1 and 2, we're going to wait for number 3 to be released and then we're going to give you a comparison scene by scene. So we open up the series with the voice of Gail, talking about the importance of her story and potentially the fact that it's going to be the only story really that matters. And it's interesting here that actually she's telling this story almost from the end of the season. So when you first watch, you don't realise, but actually, the more I think about it, I'm not sure if we've actually seen that conversation from Gail yet. So as we explore Terminus and the kids that try and touch the vault and get as far as they possibly can, we also get to see a young Polly, which again is lovely to see. But it's worth noting here that when Gail continues with her voiceover, she actually does mention the vault, Hobermello and the mule in that order as well. Which obviously, the first season is all about the vault and what's inside it. The second is about Hobermello and how he fits into this journey. And then the third is obviously going to be about the mule. So that was some epic foreshadowing, which I didn't notice first time round. So we skip across a little bit and we end up in Synax, where Gail is exiled from her planet because she obviously wants to get a better education for herself. Universities have been burnt down on that planet, and then anyone who's kind of intellectual is chased and murdered just for reading a book or even trying to learn maths. But for me, it was really great just to see Synax because I forgot again how beautiful that planet actually is, and it gets me even more excited for Season 3 with the visuals that are coming up. Now again, Gail here, as she was making her way to Trantor, she actually mentions to someone, "Did you say something?" And although this could be seen as a throwaway line, actually that was a sign of her mentalic power that is obviously due to come in future seasons. Now, whether that was the fact that she was in close proximity with the Spacers, who have, different levels of powers because they can withstand these space jumps, but still a sign of her powers trying to come through. And again, with that space jump, it was nice to see, looking like a little mini black hole as it kind of takes one ship to a different location within just a few minutes. It was just lovely. So we arrive in Trantor at the Stalk, which does take 14 hours to drop from Trantor to the surface. And of course, there is about 100 subterranean levels on the planet, which is just mind-boggling. And then later on in the episode, they do mention that level 64 is pretty much just a huge server layer that generates all the data and the information that this planet needs and creates almost like a night sky for itself. Now, as we approach Trantor, we do get to see Dawn as a child. And again, first time watching this, I completely forgot. I didn't even realise that we saw him as a young Dawn. I'm so familiar with the one that we saw from Season 2 that obviously had that relationship with Queen Seraph. I forgot we had a younger version. And it was just great to see Day talking to him and teaching him the ways, especially over the dinner with roast peacock.
A boy bleeds if found with a knife, then takes shelter in her coat.
That one's not really a hunting song. That's a dirty song about a boy's first time with a woman.
We then move on to the introduction of the Ancrians and the Thespins, as they're kind of shown around by the lovely Demoiselle. And they're getting shown the Mural of Souls, which dictates the 4th century age of peace that the Cleon dynasty has had. Now, there's a few details during this rewatch that I really enjoyed, and it was these gifts that were being presented to the Empire. Now, yes, I do call him Empire, and sometimes I will call him Day, so apologies if it gets confusing and I go back and forth. I'm confusing myself. But I love the fact that he was teaching young Dawn the ways of politics, because they mentioned that the Empire controls 10% of the Ancrian's palladium, and the fact that this book and the sigil on it is made of around 25% palladium means that they're signifying the increase in their supply, and if they help them with the battle and the war ahead, that's something that the Empire can make use out of. And I think that was just a great detail that was potentially overlooked the first time round. But getting us back on track, Gail meets Harry, and they talk about the fact that she solved the problem with Calais' 9th proof of folding, and Harry gave us a bit of an introduction into psychohistory, which is where everything then kicks off. And I think it's around about the 27th minute that Harry suddenly switches, and then from this point on, everything boggles your mind. The conversation becomes even more complex, and that's one of the things that I love about this show. We then see them getting arrested, which Harry again did predict, and that was for high treason, of course. And then as he's being interrogated about his predictions and the ability to see in the future, we learn a lot more about the Cleonic dynasty. The fact that there's 8 trillion people within the Galactic Empire is a phenomenal amount. And now at this point we know that the Cleon dynasty has reigned for around 400 years. Now Harry predicts that within 500 years the Dark Ages will come, and it will be the downfall of the Galactic Empire, forcing those Dark Ages to last up to 30,000 years unless they follow his plan of essentially building a galactic encyclopedia to help rebuild civilization afterwards. And this will cut the Dark Ages down to just 1,000 years. And of course, this forces Empire to essentially send Harry and Gail to Terminus. This is one, to get them well away from Trantor and the Empire, but also to then allow Harry to carry on with his plan just in case his predictions do come true. And then that's kind of almost where the episode ends. Well, obviously, Sal enters the vault as well, but we'll discuss that in the next episode. Now, one of the first and kind of only big questions I have from this first episode is, where is season 3, or when is season 3 taking place? And how many years into that prediction of Harry's are we? So, at the point of this episode, he mentioned that the chaotic event would come in 500 years. Now, from episode 1 to episode 3, when we saw that time jump at the end of episode 1, and we will see a time jump at the end of season 2 with the mule, there's around about 330 years I've worked it out to be, which means that the show will ultimately have 230 years left to predict this chaotic event, potentially in season 4. Now, some people do say it's a little bit less, and it's about 154 years, but that was only the jump from the end of season 2 to season 3. Now, again, this show uses time in a completely different way, and we kind of get a lot of backstories, a lot of jump forwards. The mule is able to kind of jump into Gail's vision as she looks into the future. So it is all kind of entwined into one. So really, who knows? All we do know is that the Dark Ages are coming and the fall of the Galactic Empire is soon upon us. Now remember, we don't cover any book spoilers here. This is all us from a TV show perspective only. So please do respect that in the comments as well. But I've loved watching this first episode of the season. And like I say, I'm going to be keeping you up to date with every episode. And we're going to be dropping about 2 or 3 a week. And if possible, maybe a full season recap. Who knows? But no, I really enjoyed it. It's really got me psyched up for the season. And I'm looking forward to watching the rest. So let me know in the comments your thoughts, what you loved about that first initial episode. And let me know, of course, if there was any outstanding details that I missed. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time with something new.